Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be talking about clip point blades and why I don't think some of them are clip points. First up is classic clip point that I do think is a clip point. This is a prime example of what I think a clip point blade should be. To show you just a little bit of difference here, we have a drop point blade. That is a blade that just comes straight, not straight down, but curves downwards towards the tip a little bit, unobstructed. Here we have a sheep's foot blade. Again, it has that curve down. This comes straight out. Sometimes it'll curve down a little bit depending on the knife. And then it will clip out and back like a Bowie knife. This is a Bowie knife. This is what I consider to be a clip point blade. Prime example. It's a wonderful knife blade, has many versatile uses with it. These two are not clip point blades, but can be clip point blades by definition because like this is a straight blade and then they just cut the edge off there, so it's a clip point. Or the clip point starts farther back. To me, I think Benchmade calls this a reverse Tonto, which I kind of see, but I kind of don't. To me, this is more of a spay point blade. Just kind of, it's a little less stabby. It's just, it gets in there and gets the job done. That's just me. I know that's not how Benchmade calls this, but I'm just kind of ranting here. This is what I call a clip point. These, I think Ganzo calls this a clip point, but we're not getting into what the company calls it. This is just where I like to draw some lines. To me, if the clip point starts below the halfway point, which let's measure this out. Lining up this line here, we go out like past 3 inches and then it drops. So like halfway out, the clip begins. That's a big clip. I'm used to it being a little bit closer to the front. But I think this is a good starting point. Is halfway up the knife blade, clip. That is a clip point. Below halfway point of the blade, clip. It's not a clip point. I would consider this like some sort of a dagger, scimitar. I don't know. Like, what would you call this? Like, I would not call this a clip point. Clip point starts too far back. It feels like a sweeping dagger. Let's call it that. Sweeping dagger. That's a good name for that. Sweeping dagger. And then the clip point sometimes like comes up too far and isn't enough of a clip. And given the steepness of the clip, I call that a spay blade. But let's just say it went a little bit more gracefully. I don't know what to call that. It's just so dinky of a clip point. You know, like Benchmade calls this a reverse Tonto. I get it. But to me, the Tonto should be square. If we're saying Tonto, you know, the blade should be flat, not curved forwards. This should be a drop point Tanto. That's what this should be. Reverse drop Tanto. That would be a good name because the edge drops to the Tanto. Saying it's a reverse Tonto, Benchmade, what are you doing? This makes no sense. Drop Tanto. Because if you hold it like it's a Tanto, the back drops. That makes more sense. But by technical definition of what I think a clip point is, all 3 of these knives classify as clip points by the definition. But my personal definition should be like halfway up the blade, past the edge of the handle here, not the pivot, but like the edge of the bolster, to the tip. Halfway up, clip. Clip point. You get too dinky though, where we're into different territory. But I would still consider that a clip point. But this sweeping dagger, like come on, this is not a Bowie knife anymore. This is some sort of a combat dagger looking deal. It's got a lot of belly. It's great for food prep. This is a Ganzo knife. Great knife. I love Ganzo knives. These things are absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, solid, budget friendly. Benchmade, on the other hand, not so budget friendly. Look gorgeous nonetheless. gorgeous knives. You get a Benchmade, you're going to have a good knife. But if you want a budget blade that does the job, you're not going to cry if you lose it, Ganzo is the way to go. Most of their knives are under $40. There's some that aren't. You know, they got fancier high-end knives that hit $60, $70 at times, but pretty much all their knives are going to be sub $40. That's not a bad price for a good knife. This one comes on bearings. It just drops shut. It's beautiful. It's grippy. I love the scales that they do. I wish that they would do their version of like the Wii Banter or something. Like they do like these bigger knives, and they don't do a lot of small knives. And it'd be nice to see some small knives coming from Ganzo. But that's getting off topic here. We're talking about clip points. And I just, like where do you draw the line at what is a clip point? What is not a clip point? And I just threw out some of my ideas. Tell me down below, like, where you think you would draw the line on where a clip point begins and where a clip point ends. Because, you know, it's all over the place. Like, there's so many different blade shapes, curvatures, like, you can't accurately name all of them, so you got to generalize it some. I get it, but it is annoying when you can't, when someone says, like, modified drop point. Like, like a Leatherman free blade. Like, I would almost call that a Warncliffe, because the knife edge does not curve up that much overall. It's a nearly straight edge, but this starts dropping and goes down. They call it modified drop point. I call it Warncliffe. But that's where I stand on it. Where do you stand? Is this a modified drop point, or is this a Warncliffe blade? Tell me down below. Let's start a war in the comments here. So, thank you all for listening to me rant, ramble, and just be crazy in general. I hope you find these videos insightful, informational, hopefully useful is my main goal. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing, sharing, telling people about me. I love to spread the word around. I'm trying to cover the things that no one else does. So, until the next video, I hope you all have a happy day and carry well. Bye-bye.